Now, Iran has been retaliating across Gulf countries to the attacks on its territory, Gulf countries which host U.S. military bases. The latest strikes were in Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and here in Qatar. Let's bring in Mohammed Jamjoon here in Doha for the latest. First of all, the attacks on Bahrain, apparently an oil refinery there has been targeted, Mohammed. What more do you know?
Yeah, that's right, Fali. Let me tell you what we're just hearing from the Bahrain news agency. Statement saying that there's been a fire that has broken out after an Iranian attack that was targeting this facility in Ma'amir, and that there's been material damage caused to that facility, but that there have been no casualties. Beyond that, just in the last few hours, you also had announcements in Bahrain from their Ministry of Defense as well as from their national news agency saying that there had been at least 32 Bahraini citizens injured, including children in that toll as a result of an Iranian drone strike and an attack that happened on Sitra Island. That's an area south of Manama. It's been a dangerous few days in Bahrain. Just yesterday, there were reports of 3 people being injured when there was debris that fell after an interception of a drone, and that hit a university building. 3 people injured. Beyond that, you also had yesterday reports coming out of Bahrain from the national news agency that there was a desalination plant that had been damaged. There was material damage to a desalination plant after an attack from Iran. So it's been a particularly dangerous couple of days in Bahrain, and at this hour they're still contending with the aftermath of attacks directed from Iran towards that country.
And there have been missile interceptions here in Doha, multiple ones in the early hours of Monday morning. What's happened and what impact is this going to have on travel across the region, which was already severely disrupted?
Yeah, Fali, it was about 6 hours ago that those interceptions took place. Around 3:15 a.m. Doha time here in Qatar, the alert came out on our phones that the threat level was elevated. A few minutes after that, we all heard the sound of loud booms, about 12 or so. That was those ballistic missiles heading from Iran to here being intercepted. Beyond that, around 10 minutes after that came the threat level being lowered, going back to normal again. So, of course, Qatar is still very much a target in this escalation that these countries are facing from Iran, these attacks that are emanating from Iran. And beyond that, you also had, let me just run through some of the other countries that have been impacted the last few hours. In the United Arab Emirates, the air defenses are currently responding to threats they're saying that they're receiving from ballistic missiles incoming from Iran, as well as drones. And in Saudi Arabia, of course, the Ministry of Defense said that they had intercepted 4 drones, that one of those drones was destroyed. It was heading towards the Shaybah oil field in the empty quarter. Now, look, you talked about aviation. Here in Qatar, there have been a limited number of flights yesterday and today. Yesterday, it was announced that there were a limited number of flights that were bringing passengers whose final destination was here in Qatar back from other countries. Beyond that, there were also flights yesterday that took off from Qatar, a limited number of flights. These were repatriation flights taking citizens back to their home countries. Today, we know that there have been at least a few arrivals, these limited flights of people whose final destination is Qatar. But the Civil Aviation Authority has continued to maintain that civilian airspace is closed. It is still temporarily closed for the time being until the situation calms down. That, of course, has had a huge impact on the aviation industry, on the tourism industry, also the thousands of people who are still stranded in Gulf countries. They were either transiting here, they might have been on layovers when the attack started, or they were just visiting. Many of them still in the region waiting to be taken back to their home countries. One of the problems is that the countries who have announced these past several days, many of them, when they try to start flights up again, they are usually delayed or canceled because of this constant threat of drones or missiles emanating from Iran heading to these countries. So many of those flights, even when they plan to try to start them up again, they do get delayed. That has not been the case here in Qatar. These limited flights have come in and they've taken off as planned, but the fact of the matter is it's still a very tenuous, very volatile situation, and that's going to have a huge impact on the aviation industry in this region for the time being. Fali?
Mohammed, thank you for the update. That's Al Jazeera's Mohammed Jamjoon reporting live from here in Doha.